Hello everybody, I am Harshit Rao, studying in first MCom at MPM Government First Grade College, Karkala. Now, I am going to show a presentation on topic centralization of authority. Firstly, introduction to centralization. The concept of organizational centralization is closely related to the concept of span of control, which means the concept of organizational centralization is closely related or interlinked with the concept of span of control. The degree of centralization affects the span of management and therefore influences the management. The degree of centralization affects the span of management and also influences the management. Depending upon the centralization or dispersion of authority in the organization, they can be termed as centralization or decentralization. Depending upon how centralization disperses or authority disperses in the organization, they can be termed as centralization or decentralization. Next, meaning and definition of centralization. Centralization of authority denotes the concentration of authority in a few hands, generally at the top of the organizational hierarchy. In a centralization system, the decision-making power will be in the hands of few, that is, generally at the top of the organizational hierarchy. According to Allen, centralization is a systematic and consistent derivation of authority at the central point within the organization. Here, top within the organization is nothing but the top level management of the organization. Next, factors determining centralization. First one, achieving uniformity of action. Uniformity of action is possible when decision-making authority is centralized. The decisions taken at the top will be implemented at every level. Uniformity of action is possible when decision-making authority is centralized. The decision taken by the top management will be implemented at each level. Facilitating integration. There may be a need to integrate all operations of the enterprise for achieving common objectives. Centralized management will facilitate integration of activities by forming common policies programs. An organization is established to achieve some common objective. Centralized management will facilitate integration of activity by forming common policies and programs. Promoting personal leadership. The small enterprises grow on the strength and capabilities of the manager. Even big concerns do depend upon the qualities of a manager during initial periods. The whole authority will be in the hands of chief executives. This will result in quick decisions and imaginative actions. The small enterprises grow on the strength of their managers during the initial stages. Even the big organizations are also do the same during the initial periods. The whole authority will be in the hands of the chief executives. This will result in quick decision making and imaginative actions. Handling emergencies. Under uncertain business conditions, there is a need to take emergency decisions. Centralized authority will enable quick and timely decisions from short-term as well as long-term perspective. Under uncertain business conditions, there is a need to take quick imaginative actions and decisions. Centralized authority will facilitate to take quick and timely decisions from short-term as well as long-term perspective. Level of skill and motivation of the workers. The higher the skill level and motivation, the wider the span of control. If a worker is highly skilled and motivated, the wider or the span of control will be wider. Next, features of centralization. Top management. Top management is an important part of an organization. The job of top management is to take important decisions related to the organization and also to listen to the complaints of the organization and provide a solution to them. Top management in an organization is considered to be the heart or brain of the organization. The job of the top management is to take important decisions related to the organization and to hear to the problems or complaints of the organization and provide them better solution. Decision making is in the hands of top management only. There are different levels of management in an organization to run the organization smoothly, but still the power to make all important decisions about the organization lies in the hands of top management, and rest all the manager is supposed to follow the decisions taken by the top management. There are different levels of management in an organization for the purpose of convenience, but still the decision making power will be vested in the hands of top management, and the other level of management have to follow the instructions or the rules which are formed by the top management. Information flows from upper level to lower level. In the organizations where the centralization process is followed, the information flows from the upper level of management to lower level of management. In the organizations which follows centralization system, the information or instructions flows from top level to the lower level of the management. Longer time to make decisions. As the level as the lower level personnel are largely dependent on higher level personnel for any decision making process, it needs a longer time to make decisions. As the lower level personnel are not independent to make any decisions, they have to depend upon the higher level personnel to for any decision taking process. It needs a longer time to make decisions. Suitable for small organizations. As centralization results in slow decision making, it is not suitable for large organizations and makes decision making process. As centralization system results in slow decision making, it is not suitable for large organizations and makes decision making process complicated. Advantages of centralization. Facilitates personal supervision. Centralization helps personal supervision. In some organizations, particularly in the production activities, the supervisor or manager has to closely supervise the activities in order to prevent the possible poor quality or deviations from the plans. In such cases, centralization of authority and responsibility help the organization better. Centralization facilitates personal supervision. In some organizations, especially in the production activities, the supervisor or the manager took great care and closely supervise the activities in order to avoid poor quality or deviation from the plans. In such cases, centralization of authority and responsibility help the organization better. Provides personal leadership. Some people need inspiration, influence, and direction directly from the leader. Similarly, certain activities need information directly from the leader. In such cases, centralization provides for direct and personal leadership. Some people need inspiration, motivation, and direction directly from the leader. Similarly, certain activities requires the same from the leader. In such cases, centralization provides a chance for direct and personal leadership. Promotes integration and coordination. Organizational activities and business process is divided into parts for the purpose of convenience. They need to be integrated and coordinated for getting final and unified products or activity. Thus, centralization provides for the integration and coordination. In an organization, activities are divided into various parts for the purpose of convenience. They need to be integrated and coordinated for getting the final work done and to get unified products. Thus, centralization provides for the integration of and coordination. Promotes uniform action. Organizations ultimately provide unified products to the consumer, which needs uniform action to be performed at each level. Centralization promotes uniform action. Organizations ultimately provide unified products to the consumers, which needs uniform action to be performed at each level. Centralization promotes uniform action. to handle emergency situation. Emergency situation need a flow of authority, resources, information, etc. from one point or place only. Centralization provides for it. Emergency situation can be efficiently managed through centralization of authority. Emergency situations, the need of flow of instructions or resources or informations are required from one point or place only. Centralization provides for it. Emergency situations can efficiently handled or managed through centralization of authority. Next, disadvantages of centralization. Delay in communication. Top management communicates the information to all levels in the organization as the authority is centralized. As such, management may fail to communicate the information within the right time. Top management communicates the information to all levels in the organization as the authority is centralized. The top level management are the major key persons who make the decisions. As such, management may fail to communicate the information within the right time. The other levels of management may not get the information within right time, which ultimately results in delay in communication. Delay in decision making. Top level management has to process all the necessary data and information, identify the organizational problems, develop the alternative solutions, and make the final decision. As such, decision making is delayed in centralization. Top level management has to process all the necessary data and information, identify the organizational problems, develop the alternative solutions, and make the final decision. This process results in delayed decision making in the centralization system. Fail to pay proper alternative on policy issues. Centralization process requires the top management to concentrate on both routine issues and policy issues. Routine issues normally draw most part of the time, pay due attention on strategic and policy issues. The system of centralization may fail to provide a better solution for the issues which are regularly occurs in the organization. Routine issues normally draw most of the time attention on strategic and policy issues. Employee dissatisfaction. Most of the people under centralization system perform routine activities. They cannot perform meaningful and challenging work. Hence, majority of the employees are dissatisfied with their job irrespective of salary levels. Most of the people in the centralization are have to do the routine work day by day. They cannot perform any adventurous or meaningful work. Hence, majority of the employees are dissatisfied with their job irrespective salary level. In this image, we can observe the flow of instruction in centralization. Executive director makes a decision and passes the message or decision to the finance manager and operational manager. Here, finance manager and operational manager are the middle level managers, whereas executive director is the top level management. Here, the finance manager and operations manager passes messages to their respective subordinates. Which means the finance executive, admin officer, senior manager, and assistant manager are the lower level management. If we take the example of college, principal will be the upper level or top level management, department department HODs are the lower middle level management, and the students are the lower level management. Why centralization fails to deliver after some time? Absolute centralization becomes untenable within the organization, becomes more complex in terms of size, interdependence of workflow, complexity of task, and spatial barriers within the and among the groups. Absolute centralization becomes untenable within the organization, becomes more complex in terms of size, interdependence of workflow, complexity of tasks, and spatial barriers within the and among the groups. Centralization can prove to be the productive in the long run because the subordinates take power and authority to timely respond to different situations, making quick decisions. In fairly large organizations, the need for decentralization is strongly felt when faster decision making becomes extremely critical to satisfy and delight the consumers. In a centralized organization, skills of the middle level management are underutilized as they have little time to contribute and their knowledge is partially used. Generally, there are less motivated personnel in a centralized organization because they are not able to make things happen in accordance to their viewpoint. Centralization discourages the spirit of initiative among the employees at the lower and middle levels of management. Thank you.